Good. So let's move ahead. We have already seen the sensitivity analysis as far as the conceptual understanding is concerned. Now we will be applying that on some real life problems by using the utilities of the Excel, and we'll take some more complications as well, considering the kind of complications we get in the real life problems. We'll take such kind of examples, and then we'll try to see that what we get in return. We'll try to analyze and interpret the results accordingly. So let's move over there. The file I have circulated, I am moving there again. This is the file. So here many of the things we are going to do by using the functions of Excel. Let's start reading the question first of all, and then we'll decide that what kind of a format will be prepared to do the sensitivity analysis. Now, let me just again give you the brief idea. You people are aware still, sensitivity analysis is about to check that which variable is the most sensitive to the NPV and which variables are the least sensitive to the NPV. Now, here we do not have the specific criteria for all of these variables. We'll be taking all those variables and then we'll do that what is the effect on the NPV in the due course to come. But the basic remains the same, that which variable is, how much that variable is sensitive to the NPV. So how much change it is causing to the NPV if that variable gets changed. So that is what we are going to do by using the Excel. Now the variables can be various. It can be initial cost of the project, it can be the expected rate of return, it can be the cash inflows, and every such sort of a things. So let's start reading it so that we'll be able to understand in a better way. Dr. Kabir Singh wants to buy a CT scan machine for expanding their medical capabilities. Okay, अच्छी बात है, कबीर सिंह को थोड़ी सी बुद्धि आई, देर आए दुरुस्त आए. Initial cost of the project is 80 lakhs. Required rate of the return is 13% from this project, which is the CT scan machine. Specifically considering the COVID situation nowadays, we can understand how important that machine is. The useful life of the project is 10 years. So till 10 years, this machine is going to remain there. Following is the other details of the project. The number of CT scans expected in the first year are 750. And then in every year, it will increase by 20. Now that's a quite pessimistic expectation. 750 CT scans in a year, that means only 2 on a daily basis. Now you go to the CT scan centers today for the COVID situation, they are doing almost 70 to 100 scans in a day. So you can imagine the amount of money they would be making. And I have checked the price of the CT scan machines. It's not costing more than what I have stated here. So we'll check that how much profit they actually generate by doing this. I've also taken the very reasonable prices for the per scan. Let's read that. The price of the each CT scan report will be kept at 2000, which will increase by 5% on yearly basis. Now 2000 rupees is also very, very small amount. Some of the CT scan machines are costing somewhere around 3 to 4,000 rupees. Anyway, we have taken 2000. And we have also taken the inflation factor into account so that, this 5% will be the cost. The maintenance cost will be 50,000 rupees in a year one, and which will increase by 10% in each year. So in a year number one, it would be 50,000. Now, because of the electricity and all such sort of a maintenance, you will be incurring more because you have placed the CT scan machine somewhere. So that is the additional cost you will be incurring because you have placed that CT scan machine. 50,000 rupees in year number one, and that will get increased by 10% in each year. The salvage value will be 1 lakh rupees in the 10th year. Find NPV and IRR of the project find the sensitivity of the NPV with respect to discounting rate, initial cost, price of the report, and number of reports. So we'll come to the sensitivity part later on. First of all, let's build one NPV model so that we'll be able to find the sensitivity efficiently and effectively. So first of all, there has to be some standardized model where each and every cell must be interdependent on each other. Then only you will get the sensitivity analysis in Excel. So prepare that standardized model first. The format of the model could be any, as per your requirement, as per your choice. But let's follow the instructions given by me right now. We'll move ahead slowly and steadily. So all of you may start writing over there. First of all, let me just write the initial cost. And I'm writing 80 lakhs there. I'm increasing the size of that cell so that we'll be able to see that in a better way. Okay, then I'm again writing the required rate. That is 13% from this project. I'm increasing the size of that cell. You can just drag that column a bit, or you may have a double click between B and C by taking your mouse cursor over there between B and C and have a double click so that the size will get adjusted, or you may just drag it manually. Then useful life not required to be taken. Why? I'll tell you. Okay, now I'm writing the salvage value. Why I'm doing this, you will come to know after some point of time. Salvage value will be 1 lakh, but that will be realized in the 10th year. So the present value of the salvage value should also be taken into account. We should not forget that. Now we'll build a model where all the expenses and incomes will be taken together. And my dear friends, we'll try to find the NPV and then IRR. So let's first of all write the thing which is the required the most, obviously the years. And what is the detail we have? Then we would have number of reports. And if you multiply the number of reports with the price of each report, then you get revenue from reports. I'm just increasing the size of it a bit, and then I'm using the wrap text so that my cells are adjusted accordingly. I'm using the wrap text. You may just give the borders. थोड़ा सा मेकअप कर लेते हैं तो बेचारे को दुख ना लगे. Now from revenue, obviously, sir, there is a maintenance cost as well, right? Which is to be reduced on a yearly basis because that's the cash outflow and that is on a yearly basis. So we'll be finding the net cash inflow. Revenue from all the reports is going to be your gross cash inflow, but you reduce the expense as well, which is the maintenance cost. So you get the net cash inflow. So I'm writing maintenance cost. I'm again doing the wrap text of it. So this is how it would be looking like. The meaning of wrap text means you do not change the width of the cell. You just want to change the height of the cell. You can do it by going over there in the home, and there is an option of wrap text here in the alignment section. So you get the net inflow, or I may say the net cash inflow. But my dear fellas and fellies, this net cash inflow needs to be converted into the present value. So we also use the discounting factor. Changing the size of the cell a bit so that it looks better. Good. Then you multiply the discounting factor with the net cash inflow, my dear fellas and fellies. You get the PV of cash inflow. Right now we are just ignoring the taxation amount. So whatever the profits you are making from this, ignore the tax amounts. So that's going to be our cash inflow ka present value. Okay. Now let me write the maintenance cost somewhere over here. Maintenance cost on a yearly basis for the first year, it's going to be 50,000. So whatever the details which are given to me in numbers, no, I'm just creating few cells of it because I wanted to link those cells with some of the workings I'm going to do now onwards. So that's why I'm just giving the link. I'm just writing it somewhere in a cells. And one more thing would be required is required rate has been taken into account. Maintenance cost as well. So PV, okay, nothing will be required more. We may move ahead. So let's just write the entire useful life of the project in year. So it's 10 years. So first I'm writing 1 equal to this above cell plus 1. So you get 2. Now I have done it because I do not want to write manually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just copy it and paste it down to other cells. So I'll get up to 10. Let me just delete this 11. Now I'm selecting all those cells and I'm just giving the borders of it. So this is how it would be looking like. Giving the bold color as well to these titles. Okay, let's write one more thing here, that is reports in 1 year. Initially in the first year, we'll have the reports. How many? So that's gonna be 750, sorry. And price in the first year. Reports in the first year only, I should write. 2000. And for that also I'm giving the borders. This would be required to link one cell with another, so that we'll be able to do the sensitivity analysis in a good way. I hope everyone is there with me till now. May I have a confirmation from the students, please? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, from Jalpa, yes. From Mr. Meet too. From Miss Riddhi as well.
Yes, sir.
Miss Helly. Good. Good. So everyone is there with me. Let's just write the number of reports. So first of all, I'm starting with the sign of equal to. I'm just linking the number of reports in the first year, which is 750. So that's going to be my F15. Now to do the sensitivity analysis where we require the combinations and permutations of many of the outcomes, we should have the specified standardized format where every cell are linked with each other and we get the ultimate outcome in terms of NPV or IRR. So that's why I'm linking that cell with 750. You'll come to know that why I have linked it. I'm just linking it 750. Now this number of reports are going to be increased by 20. So I'm just using the sign of equal to, selecting that above cell 750, using the sign of plus, then putting 20 there, pressing enter. Now I'll not be doing it again and again. I'm just copying it and pasting it to other cells. So I have got the number of reports for all this number of years. This 750 reports is quite pessimistic, On a daily basis, you just have the 2 CT scans. Don't you think it's a quite pessimistic? It would be somewhere around at least 15 to 20 reports on a daily basis. But still, they would be able to generate, the good amount of returns. Let's check it out. Then the price in the first year is going to be 2000. So I'm linking it with the price I have given over here, 2000, which is going to be F16 in my case. and that's going to be increased by 5% on a yearly basis. So equal to this D19, which is the price I have taken, plus 5%. Now 5% of what? 5% of the above cell only. So 5% multiplied by, using the sign of this Fuderdi. Some people will be like, what is this Fuderdi? मेरी मर्जी, मेरे को जो बोलना है बोलो. That Fuderdi you will be able to find right above 8 का जो बटन है ना उसके ऊपर आता है. And then I'm selecting this 2000 again, so I get 2100. Now I'm just copying that and pasting it to all other cells downside. So I would have the incremental prices for each and every year for the CT scan reports. Let me just check this decimals, going to the home tab, and from here I am decreasing the decimals and rounding off all the decimals, क्योंकि फिर आप पैसों में किसी से लोगे नहीं. वो कबीर सिंह बेचारा बोलेगा नहीं कि ये भाई मेरे को पैसे दे, 3 पैसे देने बाकी, उसको राउंड ऑफ कर 2 रुपये में. Now revenue from reports is obviously the number of reports multiplied by the price. So that's going to be the revenue from each year. So the revenue from year number 1 is going to be 15 lakhs, and I'm just copying that formula and pasting it to other cells. Let me just take care into account the decimals. Let me reduce the decimals. Okay, so we have got the revenue. I hope everyone would have got it along with me there. May I have a confirmation from the students, please?
Yes, sir.
Good, very good. Very good, let's move ahead. If anyone is lagging behind, let me know. मैं अंतर्यामी नहीं हूं, मुझे मालूम नहीं पड़ता. तो अगर मुझे 1 मिनट रुकने की आवश्यकता है तो बिल्कुल बता दीजिए मुझे. Okay, so maintenance cost is going to be this 50,000. So selecting that, first of all, F14. I'm not writing 50,000 manually because this 50,000 that I have written in F14, no, is going to be the cell for me, which I'll use in the sensitivity analysis. So everything must be interdependent, and I'm the firm believer of the fact of interdependence. The entire cycle of the nature operates in the interdependence. The absolute independence is not something which is practicable. It is just a vague concept, not clear. And it is not scientifically possible as well. Each and every creature, each and everything in this nature is dependent on each and everything. I'm not telling you to remain dependent 100% on one thing. That's a kind of the slavery. But interdependence is something which is, the nature of the nature. Okay, so some people will be like, उसमें यहाँ पे क्या जरूरत थी? मेरे को याद आ गया इसलिए बोला. So F14 equal to, now this maintenance cost is going to be increased by 10% in each year, So this, I'm using the sign of equal to, this selecting 50,000 which I have written, plus 10%. Now 10% of what? 10% of that above cell only, right? So selecting that F19 again. So I would have 55,000. Now copy that and paste it to other cells. And let me just check the decimals as well. Decrease the decimals so that we would have the standardized one. So my dear fellows and fellows, the net cash inflow would be revenue minus the maintenance cost. Pressing the enter. Again, you can copy it and paste it to all the down cells, so you would have the net cash inflow from the project. Now I am expecting the answers from you. I need the discounting factor to find the present value of the project, of the cash inflows. How can I find the discounting factor? Can someone tell me? in the terminology Excel now, huh? In the terminology of the Excel, 1/1 + r तो मालूम ही है, वो तो किया ही है हमने. एक्सेल में क्या करना पड़ेगा, कौन बताएगा? Would anyone? Anyone? Now you may check it. Huh? See, each and every cells here are dependent on each other. See, maintenance cost has been taken from here. Revenue from reports are the multiplication of these two. Price has been taken from here. The number of reports are taken from here, which is F15. So each and every cells are dependent on each other. Only this many cells are independent. So I am just filling up some color there so that you will be able to know that these are the independent cells. कोई बता नहीं रहा है, बोलो. डिस्काउंटिंग फैक्टर इक्वल टू 1 divided by, now open the bracket, 1 plus r you write, right? So what is the r is 13%. So that's C15. I am linking the cell C15 over there. So again, this cell is dependent on the required rate cell, which is C15. Now closing the bracket, raised to n. So I am using the sign of raised to, which is there above 6. So 6 के ऊपर ये जो रॉकेट वाला ऊपर की तरफ सिग्नल है ना, वो है raised to का साइन. Now raised to the year, which is this one, which is B19. Now B19 is something which will remain, which will get changed. B19 will become B20, then B20 will become B21. So let's have the relative reference over there. But the rate which is required, no, that is going to be 13%, and that is going to be same for all these discounting factors. So I am locking and fixing that cell by pressing F4 so that there would be a dollar sign inserted between the two, So now we have got this discounting factor. Now you can just copy and paste it to other cells. So you would have the discounting factor of all the years putting together. Now you multiply your discounting factor with the net cash flow. So multiply that equal to discounting factor, you get the PV. Now copy it and paste it to other cells. So you get the PV of all the years taken together. Now you'll be writing PVCI here. So equal to SUM, opening the bracket and selecting the cell range. So that we'll get the summation of this. Let me just make it bold, PVCI. Then we would have, my dear fellas and fellies, PVCO. Do not write it manually. Link it with this cell, which is the initial cost. That's gonna be 80 lakhs. So you have got the PVCO. And my dear friends, just below that, you may just write NPV. So equal to PVCI minus PVCO. So the NPV of the project is 23,73,755. Alt HBA. Let's do the makeup of it. Let's do the bold of it. इसको थोड़ा सा कलर भी कर देता हूं. Good. So this is how my model is looking like. I've got the NPV. May I have a confirmation from the students, please, that we are right on the track? Everyone is there with me till now? All of you?
Sir.
Good. Received it from Miss Dara, from Miss Purvita, Miss Jalpa as well. Good. Miss Haley too. Okay, let's move ahead. Now see, we have just taken a very pessimistic calculation here for the 750 reports in a year. Still, you're making the humongous amount of profits. I guess at least it will be having the useful life of 10 years, the CT scan machines. Obviously, there is a technological advancement risk. Just in a few years to come, there could be some very advanced technologies there, but it will not get obsolete. Anyway, so we have taken the 10 years of useful life, and we have got this NPV. Now, IRR of the project can also be found by using the formula here. Let me write IRR. So there is one formula in the Excel starting with the sign of equal to IRR, opening the bracket. Now to find the IRR, my dear fellas and fellies, you also require a negative cash flow, because Excel will not be able to understand you all. We have just here the cash flows. You'll not be taking the present values, because in the IRR function of the Excel you will be just writing whatever as it is the amounts you have. So let me just try to do some jugaad, and if it will not work, then we'll explore some other way. So I'm just selecting the values which are all the positive values of cash inflows before the present value adjustment, because that is what the requirement of the function is. Then I'm doing the minus. Now minus the initial cost. Now let me just check it that whether it is working or not. Minus C14 comma any guess rate, 12% or 13, 14, 15. It just starts with the guesswork. You may just guess it whatever you want. So pressing equal to, no, it's not happening. So the problem here is I also require the negative value. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's insert one more row between 18 and 19. So between 18 and 19, I would be inserting one more row. So insert here. I'm using the word 0 there. And number of reports and price and revenue will not be there. Maintenance cost will also not be there. But in the net cash inflow, we can have the minus. Minus what? Minus this initial cost. So I'm just putting the sign of minus and I'm linking that initial cost over there. So you have the negative as well as the positive figures. I hope everyone would have got it now. Now you can select the range of the cell which includes the negative values as well as the positive values, because that is the requirement of the function to be used. So now I can start with the sign of equal to IRR, opening the bracket, then values including the negative. I am selecting all the values, putting together, pressing the comma to go to the next parameter. Then guess is again optional in nature. It is there in a big square bracket. So you may just ignore it. That's fine. You may just have the close of the bracket, pressing enter. You have got one IRR, which is 19%. So I'm just increasing the decimals here so that we'll be able to get it in a better way. So it's 19.19%. I hope everyone would have got the same. So what's the interpretation of the IRR? That is the actual rate of return from this project. NPV tells you that whether the 13% rate of return from the project is satisfied or not. We had the required rate of return of 13% on a compounded basis. Now, whether that is satisfied or not, that has been said to you by NPV. But what is the exact rate of return you have got? That means where the PVCI becomes equal to PVCO. That is the rate we call the IRR, which is the internal rate of return. That is the exact rate we have got from the project. We'll see that how to utilize that further. Okay, now let's jump to the sensitivity analysis. May I have a confirmation from the students, please, that you are there with me till now, all of you? Okay, good. Good, Miss Riddhi has said. Good. Now let's find the sensitivity of the project with respect to discounting rate, initial cost, price of the report, and number of reports. We'll be taking each and every variable one at a time. So rest everything will remain constant. We'll change one variable at a time. So say for example, the first variable we have got is the discounting rate. Now what will be the effect on NPV if the discounting rate changes? So I'm just writing the various range of discounting rates, starting from 15, and just I'm adding 1% in it in the very next one. So from 16, I'm just copying that formula and taking it to 23%. So this many discounting rates I have, ranging from 15 to 23%. And I want to check that what will be the effect on the NPV. Now here the problem is that I cannot change my model entirely. Each and every time, first you have taken 13, then you will be taking 14, then you will be taking 16, whatever the rates. Then you cannot make the fundamental changes into your model. But still we want the NPVs over here, the new NPVs. So again, my dear fellas, I am using one more formula where I am doing the PVCI minus PVCO over here. So here I got the NPV. Now some of the people would be like, sir, why you have found the NPV again here? Because to use the function called data table in the Excel, which is quite used for the sensitivity analysis, you require the outcome in the very next column of the data table. So this is going to be my selection of the data table. If I select it in this way, then only I would get the new NPVs. So here I have again inserted the formula, which is the PVCI minus PVCO, as simple as that. Clear? Or I would have linked the sale of the NPV as well directly. Then also it would have been fine. Okay. Now I require the new NPV at this various discounting rates. So what I'll do now is I'll select this data. Everyone, please put it in the back of your mind that you must write the formula again in order to use this data table function in the very next column of this data table. Here is the specific location where you should be writing it. Here we have just taken the one variable to be changed at a time. We may take the two variables as well. So at that time, the location of this formula would be slightly at a different place. We'll come to that in some time to come. But when you have only one variable, this is where you should have the location of your formula for NPV. Now you will be selecting all those cells. Select those cells. This is how your selection should be. Let me use the magnifier so that you get it in a better way. Then my dear fellas and fellows, you will go to the data, and in data for sensitivity analysis you have something called what if analysis, which is also sensitivity analysis only. So in what if analysis you will go to the data table. You have plain two arguments here. Now what is being changed in the row? In a row obviously you have this discounting rates, right? So you will be linking the discounting rate, which is the base for all these calculations, and it will automatically catch this cell as the outcome, and it will give you the different outcomes over here for the different NPVs. So you need to tell to the Excel that what is being changed as a variable in the row. Now it is not being changed vertically, it is being changed horizontally. So in a row format, horizontally it is being changed, right? So I'm just selecting the row, not the column. So click on this button and select the discounting rate, which is the base for all these calculations, which is the independent cell. And my dear fellas, this is the independent cell. So this is the independent cell where 13 percentage is written. So selecting that 13 percentage, which is in C15 in my case, pressing enter, and I would just press enter here. So I would have the various NPVs at the different combinations. You may check it. Once that table is prepared, the sensitivity is not just about the new NPV. We also want to check that by what percentage the NPV is being changed. What is the change percentage in the NPV from the original? Right. So what I'm doing is, so I'm for change in the original NPV, what you are supposed to do? Which formula you use? Can someone tell me? All of you, थोड़ा सा माइंड लगाने की कोशिश करो. ये आपका ओरिजिनल एनपीवी है. कौन सा? ये 2373. नाउ अगर आपको परसेंटेज चेंज इन एनपीवी चाहिए तो आप कौन सा फॉर्मूला यूज करोगे इन दिस सेल? वुड एनीवन लाइक टू से समथिंग? No one? No one. The people are becoming less and less reactive, by the afflux of time. I don't know why. Okay, so equal to, though it would be online examination, but I am of the firm belief that there should be no compromise as far as the learning is concerned. I'll not be able to ask these things to you in the MCQ exams. But still, we do not want to make any compromise in the learning aspect. Okay, equal to, and I'm not a fan of the CGPA and SGPA and all, I'm not a fan of the degree as well. I'm just the fan of the learning. So in the upcoming years to come, all those people who will be extremely skillful and learned ones will be able to survive, and all those people who are adaptable enough to the changes taking place in the technological world are going to remain, are going to remain on their position. Otherwise, these degrees and everything are not going to matter much. You people will be like, sir, you are taking the MBA classes and you are saying this. Because see, if you take some of the examples like Elon Musk, the Tesla, and the Microsoft and Google's and every companies, they have started hiring the people based on their skills. They are least bothered about what kind of a ranking and what kind of the degrees they are possessed. And that is also the trend we will be able to see in upcoming years in the India too, where you will be hired just on the basis of your skills and your knowledge. So even though you are taking any degree, if you will be not improving your skills and knowledge, I don't think you'll be able to survive. Will be able to survive. Even I am the part of it. In upcoming years to come, if I take my profession, the things are going to be extremely difficult, because nowadays the visual learning is taking place. People wants to learn from the videos and visuals and animations. People wants a 3D image mapping. Some of the universities have already started it. Now it's going to be difficult for all those professionals in our profession to survive if they will not be changing and if they will not be adapting to these things. Okay, so here equal to the old minus new. Let me put that in a bracket. The old minus new divided by the old, you get the change in decimal. Now let me just go over there in the home tab and let me just convert it into a percentage. Or you may also do new minus old, and then you put new over there below side, but I guess the old one would be the better. So old minus, no, new minus old would be the better one. Okay, new minus old, good. So here I'm selecting this minus old, because I do not want the positive answer. It must be negative. My NPV is reduced. How can I take old minus new? Sorry. Nahi lena hai. Old minus new divided by new minus old divided by the old one. So I36 minus S36 divided by S36. So pressing equal to, that means my NPV is reduced by 37 percentages. And let me lock this cells, which is H36, H36 are going to remain same in all these formulas. So let me lock those cells. And here as well, H36 must be locked. Let's make it constant by pressing F4. Now you copy and paste it to other cells. So you would get the sensitivity for all this. So if your rate of return requirement gets changes to 15 percentage, your NPV would be affected by 37 percentage. If your rate of return expectation gets changed to 20 percentage, your NPV would be affected by 110 percentage. I hope that's pretty much clear to everyone now. May I have a confirmation, please, all of you? You can just again give a, you know, the borders and names and everything so that it will be looking clear. I'm putting one title here, which is sensitivity of the rate. Okay, so we have prepared one table, which is sensitivity of the rate. In the next session, we'll find the sensitivity of the various other variables too. And in the next session, we'll also explore the scenario manager for creating altogether a different kind of scenarios as far as this capital budgeting models are concerned. So that's gonna be the agenda of the next meeting. May I have the confirmation from the students that you have got everything I have said till now? If you have any queries or doubt, you can let me know.
No, sir, no query.
Okay, good. Good. So you may just put your enrollment number as a mark of your attendance there, and see you all in the next session with sensitivity as well as the scenario manager. Bye bye. Take care. Sayonara. Take care of yourself and your family members. See you all.